Tamara. I'm going to introduce another topic that you bring about, which is Microsoft in the book. And I'm going to talk about my personal experience there. As I was leaving, I was asked by Steve Ballmer to interview to become their CIO. And I remember, similar to the process that I went through at Dell, I had to go through all these rounds of interviews, which to me seems ridiculous when you got the CEO wanting to recruit you. But it was very helpful for me because after I got through probably the third round, I realized I had absolutely no desire to go at Microsoft
Mm.
at the time. And the last interview that I had before I walked out the door was with a gentleman named Satya Nadella, who told me, almost begged me that I think about taking the job because he saw a pathway that Microsoft could restore itself to greatness. And I think Satya has used a lot of Carol Dweck's work as he's implemented this new environment. But think about him coming from where he was. He was an insider, so he knew some of the things that were broken. But still, as you're approaching this and what to fix, what do you think might have been some of the biggest misconceptions that he or other leaders might have had about creating meaningful work? And what's the most surprising truth that you guys have uncovered about these misconceptions?
One of the big misconceptions that we see all the time is that, oh, we'll make work meaningful by making it really fun. So let's have happy hours and free snacks and kombucha on tap and a ping pong table. And that's all going to be really meaningful. And while those things are great and free dry cleaning and all of that are great and great benefits and conveniences, and fun is good because it can help us build relationships, meaning is much deeper, right? Meaning is really about having those relationships, that sense of belonging, understanding how the work that you do really matters, and then having growth and development opportunities and a leader who believes in you. And so I think Satya might have easily come in and said, let's kind of embrace this whole like free lunch and ping pong tables and all of that. So that's one misconception. And we're really happy that he didn't go that way and that he focused on growth mindset and the model coach care and other leadership practices he implemented. And I think another misconception is this idea, which we've talked about a couple times, that meaningful work is about the work that you do specifically, and so that it's only reserved for some professions. And what we find is that meaningful work is about how we experience the work that we do, no matter what that job is. And so those are a couple ways that he could have gone wrong. Wes, what else?
I think you really covered it. I think this idea of the story you're telling yourself about the work that you're doing, which is something that we craft on our own, but also leaders of organizations help both by telling their own stories about what makes work meaningful for them and also about connecting us with the outcomes of our work and challenges and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think that recognition that people chose the job that they're in for a reason, right? Sometimes we take a job because we need to make money, right? But oftentimes we choose a particular job. We have a choice of how we make that money. And so we gravitate in a certain direction for a particular reason. And understanding that, asking the people in your company, what is it about your job that excites you? What makes you proud? What's one of the most meaningful moments that you've had in the last couple of months? We have a tool that we talk about in the book and is on our website called the Moments That Matter Canvas. And that's a really easy and powerful way to identify what's already going well, what matters to this person, and how can you give them more moments like that? How can you lean into what's already going well, to the thing that already appeals to them about this job, and give them more of those moments so that you unlock all of these benefits that we've been talking about.
When I was reading your book, that's one of the things that I loved the most was that framework where you ask, when exactly did this happen? What was the context of the story? What happened leading up to it? Who did you interact with? What did you do leading up to the moment? What did you learn from the moment, et cetera? And I think it's a really good matrix that people should buy the book just for that matrix that they can use in their organization.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think what's
so
funny about that when we teach that or when we're doing that in workshops with folks at the companies that we consult with, so often people come back and they say, oh, when somebody that works for me does well, like that makes me happy, right? And we always push them towards a specific moment. Can you tell me a story about a specific time? What was the thing that happened? Where were you? Who was it? Because one of the things that we know about meaning in general is that reflection is a really powerful way to amplify it. If we take a moment to think about these things, which is so hard when we're all very busy, we're rushing from one meeting to the next, right? I'm guilty of this all the time. Taking that moment to step back and say, hey, what did I do today? Or what did I do this week that was actually meaningful to me? And reflecting on that, sharing it with another person is such a powerful tool.